Okay, so we got a typo off the bat. I just thought I'd give my 2 cents on the 2024 NFL free agent class, particularly guys that I suspect based on my prior evaluations of them, which could be as old as like 3 seasons ago. Extreme overpays. So, look, hopefully I can put some guys in great value because either they've improved a lot or maybe I just missed out on my evaluations of them prior. So that would be the top tier, great value. Better hope there's no injuries, meaning like, okay, the value that they have been assigned based on their contract is like about where their actual impact on the game. But if they get hurt, then that's like a huge chunk of the salary cap taken that would have been better served given to other players, most likely. Bad contract, but not egregious, meaning it's going to hurt the team, but like the player can still play a little bit. Not a complete liability, but this lowest tier is the contract giver should be fired. So the player is just a complete liability, shouldn't be out there. Which is a big statement to make because a lot of these guys are now going to be on $15 million a year each, at least. So, is this light too harsh? How's that? So, first of all, we've got Brian Burns, who has just been given a 5-year, $140 million contract. So now I'll look up Brian Burns' reference to see when he got snaps last season, and we'll watch some tape on him. And while I'm at it, I can probably have a look at some of the other guys on this list. So these guys I just handpicked in particular because I think they're the most extreme overpays of the lot. I mean, Kirk Cousins is another. It's also guys I've added who I want to reevaluate after I evaluated them last. So a guy like Kirk Cousins I know to be an okay quarterback, not worth a contract that he's been given by the Falcons. Certainly not at his age. But I'm not really interested in reevaluating him because I evaluated him recently. So if we've got the Panthers on the defensive end with Brian Burns, are there any Panthers players on the offensive end? No, so we'll have to look at a defense. They play Baltimore. No. Play Houston. No. Minnesota. Week 4. So I'll look up Panthers week 4 because we might get some Danielle Hunter tape as well. Alright, here we go. So here's Burns. Up top. So completely out of the play because he overshoots the tackle. So now, the player's going upfield. So I guess we'll talk about things pre-snap. It's a very heavy formation here, so I don't know what Burns is doing all the way over here. Probably prefer his hand in the dirt. Potentially even just targeting the B gap of the offensive line here between the left tackle and the left guard. He's all the way out here, so if Madison has a running play inside here, Burns is going to have a hard time impacting the play just immediately. And then Burns just overshoots, perhaps gets greedy on a potential play action, in which case he would be in a decent position to attack it and get the ball from Cousins, but that's clearly not what happens here. So, Brian Burns, okay, so he had 8 sacks last season, pretty good, and has a lot of sacks in his career, I believe. But that could, you could be just a stat patter, like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander trying to get his 30-point game recently, right? You could just be forsaking team success for your own statistical benefit. And that's just not how great players do it. So here he is standing up. Again, just doesn't really show awareness to get in front of the ball. He's just far too out. So the scheme makes him stand up and sort of sit back a bit. So that's interesting. He might have a bit of versatility because the Giants, haven't they got Aziz Ojulari? They've got and Kayvon Thibodeau, like 2 former first round picks. So clearly they're not going to be giving them like the lion's share of snaps if they brought in Burns for this obscene amount of money. So it's a kind of weird play by the Giants. And considering the Giants have had some great defensive ends, Lorenzo Carter, Trent Harris is a guy that is I think he could be a Pro Bowl or All-Pro edge defender who's last played in the USFL, I think. Like Trent Harris was on the Giants, and my favorite defender in the whole world, Devontae Downs, who's not on a roster at all, he could play on the edge as well. So I think the Browns, unless by the end of this evaluation, I think Burns is a great player. I think the Giants have just misread. Like, they don't know who they've had, and now they're bringing in an outsider. Mind you, Burns was one of the best players on a team that won 1 or 2 games. Yeah, 2 games last season. So, is he really impacting the game to deserve that ridiculous contract? We'll see. Okay, so 3rd and goal. It's a likely pass, but still, like, you've got to stop the run as a priority here. Because it would just be... That's the highest chance of success with limited turnover risk, is just having a run play. Like, there's a possibility that the run could be made through here. And Burns is, like, standing up, like, keen for the pass rush. And there's a possibility he could just he could overshoot it again, and then the run could go right past him, and then there's a chance that the left tackle and left guard can make a play to get the ball into the end zone from a run. So I think if I was him, I'd be a little bit more concerned about that. But, immediately goes for the pass rush, dips low, but just overshoots it. And, here's Kirk handing the ball over. And where was Burns the whole way? Because these things matter. Does he see that it's a pick and then try and block ahead, or he's not even in the picture? So he gets kind of decleated here. I'm going to sound like a negative Nancy, but I already know what these guys were like a few years ago at the most. So, yeah, this video is going to be me mostly hating, no question. But kind of gets decleated. Commanded a double team, so that's something, but yeah. Alright, so now we've got Danielle Hunter somewhere here. Is that him? 99. Fuck, man, this might really harm my morale, just being unimpressed by guys. So, is there a possibility that a lot of these guys with high sack numbers like Danielle Hunter has had is like, okay, yeah, they can get past the tackle because they just shoot past the tackle every chance they get. And if a tackle isn't quick enough and can't get out to block and sustain a block for ages, then the edge defender is going to get a sack. But against a good left tackle who can sustain blocks and a quarterback who can step up in the pocket, then a speed rusher on the outside is going to be pretty easy to handle. And maybe these Hunter and Burns might be a product of exploiting those bad teams that don't have the opponents or don't have the players that have those qualities. So again, he's just so far outside. Like, the run is clearly going to go through the middle, most likely, right? And he steps outside, and I suppose that's sealing the edge, but that's a first down, and even an elite defensive end would probably... Okay, so let's see what happens at the snap. Okay, what should a defensive end be thinking at this point? Alright, maybe just stand the tackle up, and you just know that the defense is going to be weakest straight through the middle, so I just feel like the defensive end has to try and plug that, and maybe let the guys behind him mop up outside. He's still showing pretty limited awareness of what's going on, I think. And now the ball's just well past him. And he's sticking onto those blocks a lot too. That Hunter there. Here's our boy Burns again. He just doesn't impact the game, man. See? What did I say? A good left tackle can just negate a speed rusher by just kicking him outside. I'm making the verdict now. The contract giver should be fired. Burns is not worth that. No way. What was it? 5 years, $140 million contract. $87 million guaranteed. Horrendous. So let's finish off the Danielle Hunter. What did he get? Two-year, $49 million. So that's, top defensive end money. Is he a top defensive end in the league? Okay, so I like a defensive lineman who can make things up on the fly. So he needs to see now that this area of the offensive line is very well covered. So he needs to stunt inside and try and get closer to the quarterback that way. But he's just a bit too slow in recognizing that that's what is unfolding. So like this player is rushing outside, and so Hunter is essentially trying to plug the hole that his teammate is already trying to fill. He needs to be through this gap by now, but he's out of position and the ball gets away, and that's a third down conversion. So here he is again. I like that. Yeah, okay, he showed good... Oh no, that's DJ Wanham, different player. Where was Hunter with all this? He's on this side of the edge now. Okay, he showed good hand usage and urgency to get to the ball. So that's good. Was that him? I would have committed more to the outside rush because that's the easiest path to the quarterback, I'd say. Because like this left guard has nothing to worry about except for the edge, so you don't want to go anywhere near him. You want to get past him. But Hunter goes inside, shows willingness to do a spin move, but is clearly ineffective. That's a really nice spin move. And Taylor Moton is really good. So to expose a right tackle that much is outstanding. I like Hunter. He's alright. Still would have liked him to get his hand up here. And more of a savage bull rush would be better. and then have his right hand up. Why isn't his right hand up right now? So I've got better things to do than keep watching him. 2 years, $49 million. That sucks. That's awful. All right. Robert Hunt, 5 years, 100 mil. And let's say Landon, did he play the Eagles? He did. All right. We got week 7. Landon Dickerson contract. $4 years, $87 million for Landon Dickerson. What number is he? 69. Nice. Left guard here. So I like a guard or an offensive lineman who forces the defenders outside to give more forward progress ability for his teammates, but instead he just pushes straight away, and this defensive tackle can impact the play and get in on the tackle. So that's poor technique there. He's quite wide there. What's he doing all the way out there? That doesn't even seem like a legal formation almost. And also, there's a risk that the defensive tackle can immediately go inside, which again is not what you want. You want to angle them outside. And that's what Sealer does, and he can come through and try and impact this play. Okay, there's a lot going wrong here, man. Alright. Completely turns his head away from this threatening rusher. Right? And it works out. But then Dickerson starts picking him up and gets strong-armed, and then there's a player in the quarterback's face. So it's just bad technique all round, I think. Hand placement bad. Needs to push out, keep distance between himself and the defender. All it takes is a really savvy defensive lineman to do like a spin move, and he's passed straight away. Like, that's bad technique. He needs to get more leverage. Yeah, he sucks far out. Alright, let's go to Robert Hunt. Let's hope he's improved since the draft, because I thought he was one of the worst offensive linemen in his draft. When I evaluated him, I thought. Showed pretty good fight there. I'll try and be as positive as I can, but shit, the amount of money being handed to some of these scrubs is eye-watering. Alright, we'll let these slide a little bit. A little bit weak, isn't he? He's not really authoritative in his blocking. He's a right guard here. Okay, showed good ability to pass off the assignment. So he sees that his center suddenly has the assignment, and now he's trying to get outside to right tackle. And he has played at tackle, so he shows, willingness to get out and block on the outside even as a guard. So that's good. Again, trying to get out. Shows really good feet. Okay, so I'd like him to sink lower at this point. I'd like him to keep backtracking because now the bulk of the defensive line is actually behind him, and that's not what you want. Wow, that was a good play. Damn. Nice. See, the Eagles secondary, I think, really let them down in the end because you shouldn't be giving this up. 3rd and 18. They've got some absolute no-names on that. Kayvon Wallace is a player that jumps out as he was a good player. Everyone else I wasn't very impressed with from memory. Yeah, Hunt's improved, I think. So here he is, showing good lateral quickness, sliding over, and facing up to the defender. So that's really good technique. But look, like, the defender's in the backfield and Hunt's not even aware of it, so... How much was it again? 5 years, 100 mil. Did they play Houston? They did. Did Greenard get reps? He did. Madubuike got 4 years, 98 mil. Greenard got 4 years, 76 mil. And it was week 1 that those two players played against each other. So Greenard's an edge defender, number 52. On this edge, presumably. Decent bull rush, sticking with it. Good play. 3rd and 2. So he plays pretty hard, right? So that's good. And Madubuike is 92. Here he is again. Not much to see so far, really. I was a big fan of Broderick Washington, another defensive tackle, I think maybe out of the same draft. In the 2020 draft. I was a big fan of Broderick Washington. So I wonder if he's going to stick around. Alright, now go back to Greenard. Still jogging a bit and overshoots the ball carrier there. So that's not ideal. But he's very active in his rush. Like, you can't be lazy as an offensive lineman because he'll expose you just purely through effort. Alright, Madubuike here. shows good hustle there. That's good. Where's our guy? Was he on the field at this point? Maybe not. Here he is. Why is he giving up on running to try and make a play there? It's not good. Oh, so Madubuike's on the edge here. And here's big-ass Michael Pierce on the edge. So that's an interesting 3rd and 5 formation. Allows himself to get shot blocked there. Pretty limited ability to understand the blocking scheme. So he just allows himself to get double teamed there, and you shouldn't allow that really. Or at least just attack the left tackle because your own guy has dropped off. So attack the left tackle, force him and hopefully the left guard all the way outside to allow your teammate to fill that hole and get through. Whereas he just sort of just keeps going straight and doesn't impact the play at all. Not for himself or his teammate. Defensive tackle is one of the most selfless positions you can play because often it means actually allowing your teammates to get the highlight. But Madubuike's showing good awareness to at least like say, okay, what's going on in the backfield? Where's the ball? Because this is a good position to be in as a defensive tackle and he's got really good mobility. So for a guy who had a lot of flashy numbers as a defensive lineman, like 13 sacks as a defensive tackle is very, very high. He's showing a lot of sort of 1%er plays where you don't see it all that. It doesn't jump out off the screen, but it's like impacts winning. So Greenard not really having a plan here. There's just not much cohesion going on. Like again, he needs to stunt around his defensive tackle or go way out wide. Here these guys are attacking the same hole, so it's kind of useless. And he's showing awareness of where the ball is, but he's jogging again. So how much was he given? 4 years, 72 mil. How much would I pay him a year? Maybe like 9 mil because he is an active player and a lazy tackle is going to have trouble against him. But 4 years, 72. So now we'll finish off Madubuike here. He just doesn't really have a pass rushing skill set. So I'd imagine that a lot of his sacks are actually just finishing plays rather than actually causing the havoc in themselves. Because here, these last few reps, he's just pushed up against the offensive lineman and not really done anything against them. See, that's not really any pass rushing skill set at all. Okay, so he gets in the backfield here, and this is a product of just really bad blocking. Because look, he just gets completely overlooked, and he has the speed, the athletic ability, which I mentioned before, to chase down the quarterback. So, good job there. And there's Greenard again, not showing much skill. Showing good tenacity, but just not enough skill. We'll just get another rep or two of Madubuike. Okay, so kind of a push-pull technique, and he was angling in on the quarterback there, but he just didn't get there in time, so it just wasn't quite efficient enough. Here he is at nose tackle, and does a good job of creating movement. So here's Greenard having trouble against a fullback in a one-on-one blocking situation. Here's Lamar being a fumble risk, which he's always been. Again, Madubuike just led bull rushing. Yeah. What did he get? 4-year, 98. Not much use of this upper part of the tier list. Alright, we got Jaylon Johnson. There was another player in here, Patrick Queen. Three years, 41 mil. Was he playing a lot in this game? Alright, we'll watch some Patrick Queen now. Who's number 6. Celebrating. Were there any other players here to look at? No. Oh, I'm going to get Roquan Smith number 0 and Patrick Queen number 6 mixed up, I think. Misses a tackle. Not looking good. Ooh, okay. Didn't do much on that rush. Gave up. But I liked his adjustment to start rushing, because that can mess a bad offensive line up, for sure. Looking pretty lazy. I'd like him to mess with the quarterback a bit, like, or even just when the ball is snapped, right? Guard against a quick slant. So stand here, because you can. His primary assignment is to guard this player leaking out, but he's no threat here for a good while. He won't be a threat. So help out your teammates and hang back for the quick slant and stuff breaking over the middle. But instead, Queen, look what happens. Queen gets sucked forwards, and then there's a pass wide open over the middle. Like an elite linebacker would guard against the pass over the middle and the pass to the flat. But Queen is selfish and absolutely locks down that pass to the flat, but it leaves this huge gaping hole behind him. So that's really poor defensive coverage understanding. And again, let's a... Oh, what the fuck? Where was I? Lets a bunch of defensive linemen, offensive receivers get past him. Like, what's stopping him from just chipping them, halting their progress? Let's all these guys get off the line of scrimmage uninterrupted, and now he's just... What's happened here? Luckily, his defensive line bailed him out, but essentially, he's being lazy and saying, oh, you cover over there, when his man is now about to break free and his teammate is clearly got their hands full trying to cover their primary assignment. So that's another breakdown in coverage, in man coverage. Okay, so he's showing willingness to get some depth here. Man, this Houston offensive line had some trouble in this game. Alright, we'll just go to the start to get a good look at Queen again. He's very nimble. He runs like a cornerback. He looks very athletic. He didn't bite on this fake. Oh, I don't know. Could most players make this play? I guess some players might be distracted by the motion. Like they go with this motion rather than like trying to get to the ball. But that's kind of a play that a lot of players might be able to make. Is he worth $41 million? Okay, so shows a willingness to get outside. Would like him to still continue forwards and get really in front of the play. He gets sucked in by these offensive linemen. But willingness to be physical against the offensive line as well, so that's good. Alright, I've seen enough. What are his strengths? I think it seems like run stopping is more of his strength because he shows some willingness to be physical and he's quite nimble, so I think he can make offensive linemen both miss in space and also stand them up in space. Good agility, but really needs to watch more film to understand what his responsibilities are in coverage. Probably pay him $8 million a year. And what was his contract? 3 years, $41 million. Look, like that contract isn't even that large relative to some of the other guys on this list. So I think so that averages out to what, like 14 mil a year? I think it's a bad contract, but not egregious, because he's not a complete liability out there like some of these guys. But it's not a big enough contract probably to have the contract giver get fired. Jaylon Johnson against... Did he play the Giants? Nah. Jaylon Johnson, how much did he get? 4 years, $76 million. And it's going to be harder to evaluate him because he's a defensive back and usually they're out of shot when a lot of the action's happening, which is freaking annoying. So we'll look at some mid-season form when hopefully he's hitting his stride. Did he change his jersey? Nah. A good old traditional number 33. Where is he? He's the outside corner. He's over here. So he doesn't completely allow an inside release, which is what I like to see. I think he's quite big, 6 foot 190. He's quite large for an outside corner. Showed good lateral agility there, shuffling his feet well. But allowing inside release if the receiver wants it, I think. And again, it'd be good to see what Johnson's doing when he's not in. So at some point he must have realized that it's now a run stopping situation, and so he disengages for any block that Allen's trying to put on him to help against the run. That's what bad secondary players do, is like they don't evaluate the fact that they actually need to stop a player with the ball in their hands now rather than just like covering their man, which I suspect we're going to see with poor old Xavier McKinney, who just got a big fat contract, but haven't been a huge fan of him historically. Is that an offsides? Oh, he just timed it well. It's Donald Parham being a beast. Where's Johnson at? Okay, so here he was. Is he hauling ass to get over here? No, he's not even in shot. Okay, so now he's coming over. Very bad tackling technique. Just diving. Doesn't try to slap the ball away. Doesn't try to cause a fumble. Like, tries to use his freaking torso to take out the player. That's horrendous tackling technique. Man, Kindle Vildor and Kyler Gordon is a pretty good outside cornerback core. Why did they let Vildor go? And then he went on to play for the Lions to their championship game. So clearly like an impactful enough player where Kindle Vildor got cut by the Bears. You know, the Bears are a talent-starved team, so what are they doing there? Former 3rd round pick, I think. Maybe 5th round. Vildor got cut, picked up by the Titans, played for the Titans some, and then ended up on the Lions somehow, and then was playing in their championship game. So it's also an example of like cornerback. Like, I would encourage all smaller athletes to consider playing defensive back, because you're just going to have a higher chance of sticking around. Like, a lot of great receivers don't get a second shot because it's such a talent heavy position. Whereas if you're just willing to be a defensive back and maybe get dunked on every now and then, get mossed, okay, that's fine. But you're going to just have a more solid career as a defensive back because you're going to get more opportunities because there's just not as many great athletes there, like great playmakers at safety or cornerback, I reckon. And Kindle Vildor is an example of a guy who got cut by a crap team but is still stuck around. Okay, I'm liking some of what I'm seeing from Johnson. Really good feet to backpedal there, but just allowing inside release again. Like, it's just a huge no-no. Here he is out here. See, that sort of technique here I'm not a huge fan of, right? Because at this point, the receiver could have been sneaky and gone more towards the sideline and get out of Johnson's field of vision, at which point Johnson's completely lost. He's on an island because the player could have either be going deep and trusting Herbert can make that really deep throw, or have a comeback route, make a catch, and then make yards after the catch. So either way, it's probably going to be at least a 50 to 20 yard gain. So that's the peril of Johnson taking his eyes away from his assignment. But again, I could show this stuff off more if there was like coaches film from like the goalposts. You can see more of what a defensive back is doing in the red zone. So that's some weird pressing technique. Just jumping right into the lap, but still allowing inside release, and then, yeah. I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Dotson against Indiana, Buffalo. Against Indiana or Buffalo. We'll go Indiana. Let's hope Pittman played against them in week 4? He did. So Rams. So how much did Dotson get? Wait, so... This bloke went to therapy for sexual addiction. It's just like... To even be in a position to have sex is like kind of a privilege. So... It's kind of a weird thing to have a problem with. It's like... I would imagine the massive men these days would like... love to even have an opportunity to have sex. And then the other end of this spectrum is apparently being overwhelmed with sex. I suppose you could blow all your money on prostitutes. Was that his case, or he just had girls just in his DMs with, with their lip filler like, "Hey baby." Well, you got more money to spend now, brother. Alright, 69. Kevin Dotson. Oh, how much did he get? Three years, $48 million. And Pittman got 3 years, 71 mil. Here's Dotson. Getting over to help his tackle well. That's good. Okay, he just got absolutely fucking dominated by not a overly sophisticated pass rushing set. Poor hand placement. Doesn't push the defender away to give them less chance to ragdoll. And he gets ragdolled. How do you see that rep and go, yes, 3 year, 48 million? And what's weird is that the Rams did a good job of evaluating Jonah Jackson, giving him a huge contract to play left guard for them. So I'm always thrown by like really good evaluations and really bad evaluations at the exact same position that some teams do. Okay, Dotson allowing an inside rush, giving his quarterback less space to step up in the pocket. That's not good. Meets a guy in a hole. So that was good. I would hypothesize that a lot of these guys are what I call pad models. And I made a video on that. Here's my website. Underrated Sports Vids. Link in bio. I made a video called "The Chicago Bears Prefer to Sign Good-Looking Athletes Over Effective Ones." So you can pay $2.50 to watch that, as well as a bunch of other stuff in this tier of videos. Or you can pay $3.50 to subscribe to the site mailing list. But essentially, a lot of these guys, I think, look really good in pads. They're big and imposing. Kevin Dotson, 6'4", 320. So he's not going to be bull rush because he's 320 pounds of solid muscle. And Michael Pittman, he's 6'4", 220. Great athlete. But if you don't know how to play the game and you don't have the techniques, then you're not going to impact the game at the level that the contract is going to demand of them. And we'll just see if they'll even live out these contracts, because I think they're just extreme overpays. So, yeah. Okay, so now we'll go Pittman on this end. Here he is. Very lethargic route running there, I would say. Okay, so here he needs to get behind this linebacker. He needs to get behind him and then attack this space. Here, he's running into where this defender can impact the coverage, and this guy can impact the coverage. So that's poor route running selection here. Now he's just got an uphill battle to try and get open. And he doesn't, and it's a negative play. Continued. We got Michael Pittman. Oh, Kevin Dotson. Allowing the inside rush, nearly tackled for a loss if Grover Stewart was a little bit more forceful. Like, doesn't quite get his head around to notice where the ball's going. Kevin Dotson, how much was he being paid? Oh my goodness. Oh, 3 years, 48 mil for a guy who's just going to give up fucking TFLs and sacks like there's no tomorrow. Holy shit. But he's girthy. At least he looks good in pads, doesn't he? Oh, boy. Oh, he's pulling. Oh, whiffs completely on the block. Oh, get out of here. I've had enough. But they gave good money to Jonah Jackson, so they're not complete nonsense in the LA Rams. Extending Dotson for that amount of money. Alright, let's see if Michael Pittman can show out. Just redeem these high-level football players getting obscene amounts of money. Oh, whiffs on a block. Doesn't really know what's going on. Yep. Doesn't block him. And now there's a free runner who can potentially stop a big play. He's in the slot. Oh, again, allows a free runner. Alright, that's a critical drop. So what does he do here? 3rd and 9, okay. Shows good speed. Shows good suddenness in breaking away from the defender. Has a long time to gauge the flight of the ball and completely whiffs on it. So, maybe an inaccurate throw, but I don't know, man. Like, that's a catchable ball. The ball's around here and just completely misses on it. How much did he get? Oh, save me. 3 years, 71 mil. Alright, down here. Right, so I mean, he's reasonably open here if the quarterback was looking to throw. And is he going to be a good teammate and try and block for his running quarterback? Is he going to try and get upfield and try and block the linebacker so that the linebacker can't take his teammate's head off? Let's see. Oh no, just jogging. Just let the quarterback, potentially get blown up by a better linebacker, right? This dude doesn't care, man. Great tangibles, big, strong athlete, but ain't a team player. And the Colts have been freaking mediocre, and it's partly because they're catering to guys like this. They're pandering. It's absolutely atrocious. The contract giver should be fired. Okay, so Dion Dawkins. Now, he's okay from memory. Did he ever play the Giants? He did. And Xavier did play a lot in the Week 6 game. Now, what did they get paid? Dion Dawkins, got 3 year, 60 mil. And McKinney got 4 years, 68 mil. That's elite safety money, okay? You're paying him enough for him to be an absolute game wrecker, to be a top 5 safety in the whole league. So let's see some tape and see whether these guys live up to the bill. Now, you know, bringing back a guy who you believe in is a good play, but 3 years, 60 mil for $20 million a year, I don't know if Dawkins is worth it. So let's have a look. Left tackle here. So problematic is that it is problematic rather that his eyes are straight ahead. What if this guy's looking to blitz? Is he going to be able to pick him up? Because his eyes are straight ahead. So that's a lack of awareness pre-snap. All right. So it gets out to, and again, Leonard. Oh no, Leonard Williams is on the Seahawks now, so that's a different player. But good agility, gets out, does his job there. But look, I'd be concerned because, like, look, if this corner decides to blitz, loop around here, Dawkins is completely preoccupied with this guy, and that's a free runner at the quarterback. So, not ideal awareness there, I would say. Oh, can we just bring up the fact that people were calling Josh Allen a bust before Stephon Diggs came through Buffalo, and now, you know, Josh Allen, MVP candidate. I think some receivers get bailed out by great quarterbacking, like Tyler Lockett is an example of that in Seattle with Russell Wilson, and DK Metcalf for that matter. But some quarterbacks get bailed out by great receivers, and I think it's clear to me that that's the case in Buffalo because Stephon Diggs, all-world player. Josh Allen, pretty mediocre. Great with his legs. Move him to tight end, where all he has to do is beat 1 or 2 players rather than the whole freaking team. Because his arm, his throwing mechanics are whack, so therefore his accuracy is usually mediocre. Strip sack threat. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Alright, so what's Dawkins doing here? Alright, looking for work. That's good. Pretty lazy push-off, but at least he got there. Gabe Davis got a bag as well. He had a 4-touchdown game, so I suppose people are like, oh, he must be a great player. Hey, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment for if you want to see another edition of this breakdown, and I'll include Gabe Davis. Alright, so look, Dawkins is good at looking for work, so he's gone outside to this guy. Again, is a bit lazy, doesn't stick with the block, and now this guy can potentially come in and impact the play. So, I think he's kind of smart, hella lazy from what I can see. Again, lazy. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Oh, disgusting. What number is McKinney? I can't wait for this to be over, guys. Holy shit. 29. See, is that him? I think it was, wasn't it? Again, I hate this angle. Kind of, so he stands up a tight end in space there, so that's good. Assuming this is him. And then kind of makes a tackle, leaves his feet a little bit weakly, I think. Oh, look at Josh Allen. Oh. Where's McKinney at? It might be better to watch all 22 play. So he's playing in the box a fair bit. By the look of it, is he? Oh no. Where is he? Is he in this? Okay, so... Am I... 29, right. So... He's covering Diggs out here, is he? Is he a cornerback now? Showing good awareness to turn his head around. That's weird. Directing traffic well. I might try and look at some all-22. Giants. I don't want to see your breakdown, I just want to see the tape. What? Is this going to be it? No, I can't have them pausing it. We'll just have to settle for this. NFL Game Pass used to be good for Coach's Film, but they handed their rights over to Dotson, and the buffering issues. You can't scrub forward or backwards easily. It's a content creator's nightmare. It's a great job, NFL. You know, they could be following the path of NBA outsourcing their content, like Australians have to suffer sporting news for the NBA.com website. It's like a completely different website, which is catered to Australian viewership, but it's like unusable relative to the NBA.com website, at least how it was maybe 10 years ago. I just feel like you need to control your brand, and if the NFL and NBA are outsourcing their brand to other media outlets, then they're not controlling quality, and therefore we're relying on freaking, like, these game highlights is what is keeping fan interest. I think like 1.3 million views is massive, but I think you'll find there's a lot of complaints about NFL League Pass for sure, and then NBA Game Pass is just as shit. All right, where's McKinney at? Is that him? Nope. Okay. He's playing behind the linebackers. Now, I did, when he came out of college, I'm not sure he even belonged on an Alabama roster. Like, that's how unimpressed I was with him. So let's see if he's shown some strides to deserve the 4-year, $67 million contract. So letting the receiver go past him and then not really doing much to plug the hole. So was that his man? Was that Dawson Knox that he let through? Nah, Knox is starting over here. So he's getting greedy, covering the short pass when, you know, there's a deeper pass looming and can't get across to cover it properly. Okay. Here he is. He's tasked with man coverage a fair bit. Is that him? He's wearing a white arm sleeve. I think. Is that him? Yeah, white arm sleeve. Showed pretty good attempt to try and punch the ball away there. Here he is. Okay, so he's looking at his man, completely unaware of the fact that the ball is... Oh, it's a different player. This sucks. Hold on. I'm going to have to make another attempt at this. Giants all 22 coaches film. Like, Vikings, Bills. So no one's posted it, man. It's kind of shit. Alright, we'll just have to settle for this. Okay, up towards the line of scrimmage. He's blitzing. Jogging. Doesn't really do much to get past the offensive lineman. Like, this guy blocks him and he's not even looking at him. Like, what is that? Assuming he's out of sight here. See how it takes like 5 times longer to evaluate a safety? Okay, following the tight end. Here he is. So I feel like he lets defenders behind him a lot, and that's just a bad drop. I feel like McKinney allowed that free release, and a better tight end probably make that grab. Alright, we'll just go to the start and might have to find another game. Here he is. Again, allowing defenders behind him. So he just, like, as a safety, like, really your job is to make sure that there's no plays behind you, I would say. And that fundamental of the position, he doesn't really do. Here he is. Blitzing. Does a good job at sifting through traffic. Here he is. Allowing a receiver past him. And then there's a deep throw. So not only did, he's letting deep passes go behind him. So as a safety, you're kind of useless then. But look, I don't want Giants fans in my comments saying you didn't give him a good go. So Giants week 8. Let's go to that. Week 8, played against the Jets. At least you can stay on the field, so you're hopefully getting value for money that way. Let's just see if you can actually play the game well. Okay, so here he is. Okay, puts his head in the wrong spot for starters. He's got to tackle with his left shoulder here. But instead he dives, puts his helmet right in the way of a knee, potentially getting a concussion. Go, Zach. Go, Zach. Oh, boy. Is that him? I'm getting him and number 28 mixed up a lot. This is Zach Wilson just not being smart. Like, look at this look at all this space. But you're such a nervous Nelly that you're just going to take this check down and then it doesn't even get a first down. Let me guess, did McKinney get some picks this season? He got 3. Okay, playing deep field. Again, allowing receivers past him. He's just not good. So that's a pretty bleak outlook for some guys. You know, that's like $1 billion in contracts given out here. And not one of them is like good enough where it's like, all right, well, look, you're a good player when you're on the field, but like, I hope you don't get injured because then our back pocket will be hurting. Because all these contracts are just horrendous. And look, say what you want, but I'm using tape, I'm using evaluation, I'm using experience evaluating great players to try and expose what bad players do. I think there's a trend that all of these guys look great in pads, you know, big, strong, athletic, but they don't know how to play the game. They don't have the technique, they don't have the awareness. And so these players are earning big bucks and they're going to underwhelm, is my prediction. So we'll see what happens. Make sure to check out my website for more evaluations. As I mentioned in the previous, like a little while back, the Chicago Bears like signing pad models. Montez Sweat being a great example of a guy who looks great in pads, 6'6", 260, but really doesn't have any game to speak of, in my opinion. And you might look at stats where as soon as he came on the Bears, like the Bears had a great defense, but I put up a video of Montez Sweat versus Taylor Moton, the Carolina Panthers right tackle, and Moton absolutely shut him out. So, you know, a lot of these guys might make some plays against mediocre opposition, but these guys facing anyone who's half competent and they're going to struggle. So all the teams that have given these guys big bucks, I think none of these guys I'd pay $10 million a year, and from memory they're all at least on like $15 million a year. So that's a complete indictment on the evaluation skills of NFL front offices. So anyway, interested to hear what you think. Most people are complete haters because I just throw out like crazy anti-status quo opinions. But look, I put my work in. I know I don't see how you can... well, I'm interested to see whether you can actually argue against what I'm saying, because I'm using actual tape. I don't give a shit about stats. Stats are for nerds, and they're for people who didn't watch the game. All right? Signing off.